If you truly desire a future with him, don't start with his actions. Start with your own inner truth. One sentence spoken daily with conviction can shift your energy, your confidence, and your destiny so deeply that the universe has no choice but to align him toward you. The marriage you want begins with the words you say to yourself. Marriage does not begin with a proposal, a ring, or an official commitment. It begins inside you, long before anything shows up in your physical reality. What you speak to yourself daily becomes the blueprint your mind follows, the energy your heart emits, and the signal the universe responds to. Loving him may come naturally, but aligning your inner world to receive the marriage you desire requires intention. The truth you tell yourself every day becomes the foundation of a relationship that grows beyond fear, doubt, or insecurity. This inner truth is not about convincing him. It is about transforming you into the woman who naturally calls forth love, commitment, and devotion. There is a powerful shift that happens when you stop saying, "I hope he chooses me," and start saying, "I am already chosen for the love that belongs to me." This is the truth your soul must speak daily, a truth that anchors your worth, centers your confidence, and aligns your energy with the marriage you desire. When you speak to yourself as someone worthy of commitment, your actions change. Your heartbreak softens. Your fears lose control. You stop questioning whether you're enough because your words have already affirmed you. You rise each day with a sense of certainty that attracts what once seemed impossible. The truth you speak becomes the signal your destiny follows. Most people don't lose love because they aren't loved. They lose it because their inner words contradict their desires. If your heart longs for commitment while your mind whispers doubt, insecurity, or fear, your energy sends mixed signals to the universe. But when you speak the truth daily, boldly, calmly, and consistently, you realign your entire spirit. Suddenly you stop overthinking his silence. You stop chasing reassurance. You stop fearing the unknown. The truth becomes your anchor, grounding you in emotional confidence. And confidence is the language of attraction. Confidence is the frequency of commitment. Confidence is what draws him closer without force or pressure. When you speak uplifting truth to yourself daily, you rise into the identity of a woman who is ready for marriage, not desperate for it. You begin to move with grace, clarity, and emotional balance. You honor your worth instead of sacrificing it. You protect your peace instead of abandoning it. You no longer allow confusion to determine your self-esteem. Instead, you stand in the quiet power of your inner truth. I am worthy of lasting love. I am chosen. I am valued. I am aligned with a future filled with devotion. These words shape your attitude, your expectations, and your energy. And energy is where relationships are formed long before actions appear. If you want marriage with him, speak daily, not from fear, but from identity. Say the truth that reflects the future you desire, not the circumstances you fear. Words rooted in anxiety create distance. Words rooted in self-worth create connection. Every day you speak truth to yourself. You shift your relationship dynamic. You radiate calmness instead of neediness. You express understanding instead of insecurity. You become the version of yourself who is compatible with the marriage you want, not the version shaped by doubt or fear. A committed man is drawn to emotional stability, inner radiance, and self-assured love. And these qualities grow naturally when your inner truth is aligned. Your truth becomes your compass, guiding you through moments when his behavior is unclear. Instead of spiraling into overthinking, you return to your inner certainty. What is meant for me cannot pass me by. This truth stops you from chasing, forcing, or pleading. It allows you to lean back into faith. It keeps your heart steady and your energy balanced. You begin to trust timing instead of fighting it. You begin to trust connection instead of fearing abandonment. You begin to trust yourself in ways you never have before. This trust becomes the invisible bridge that pulls both of you closer to the future you desire. Marriage aligns with those who speak from fullness, not from emptiness. When you declare truth over your life daily, you stop tuning into the voice of insecurity. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop measuring your worth by his responses. You rise into emotional maturity. You take ownership of your inner world. You no longer live in reaction to his moods. Your truth becomes stronger than any temporary silence or confusion. This shift doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how he perceives you. Men gravitate toward women who carry self-respect and inner certainty. They feel safe committing to someone who knows her worth. When you speak truth daily, your energy becomes undeniable. You begin to embody love, patience, and emotional depth. You no longer force outcomes, you attract them. You no longer fear losing him, you trust that what belongs to you will remain. This shift is subtle but powerful. It softens your tone, elevates your presence, and expands your aura. You begin to treat yourself like the woman who is already loved, already chosen, already secure in her relationship. And that energy pulls him closer, not because you manipulate anything, but because you have awakened the best version of yourself. Your daily truth creates emotional discipline. It strengthens your heart and clears your mind. You stop checking your phone anxiously. You stop interpreting silence as rejection. You stop overreacting to every small shift in energy. Instead, you breathe deeply, stand confidently, and affirm the truth you've planted in your spirit. A woman who speaks truth to herself daily becomes powerful beyond measure. Her presence calms him. Her confidence inspires him. Her energy draws out his maturity. She becomes unforgettable, not because she tries to be, but because truth has reshaped her from within. Speaking truth daily does more than shift your energy. It shapes your destiny. It aligns your inner world with the marriage you desire. It strengthens your faith in timing. It prepares your heart to give and receive love. It removes emotional blocks that once sabotaged your relationships. It transforms your mindset from waiting to embodying, from hoping to knowing, from longing to attracting. This transformation is what opens the door to marriage. Not pressure, not fear, not desperation, but truth. And the truth is powerful because truth is magnetic. When you speak truth daily, you step into a frequency where love finds you effortlessly. You become aligned, grounded, and spiritually clear. You stop worrying about the when, how, or why. You stop compromising your dignity. You stop shrinking your value. You rise into the identity of someone who is ready for marriage, not from fear of being alone, but from completeness within yourself. If you want marriage with him, speak truth to yourself daily, not to force him, but to align yourself. Not to control destiny, but to prepare for it. Not to manipulate love, but to rise into the version of yourself who naturally attracts it. Let these words anchor you each morning and guide you each night. I am worthy of commitment. I am ready for love. I am chosen for the marriage that belongs to me. Speak it daily. Live it deeply. Become it fully. And the universe will respond. So will he. The truth you speak to yourself each day becomes the silent architect of the love you call into your life. When your inner dialogue strengthens your worth instead of weakening it, you begin to radiate a confidence that shapes everything around you. Your thoughts no longer betray your desires because they are aligned with the future you want to experience. This truth changes how you walk into a room, how you respond to uncertainty, and how you handle emotional challenges. You stop collapsing into doubt the moment he becomes distant. You stand firm in your value, trusting that real connection cannot be shaken by temporary silence. Your energy becomes consistent, and consistency attracts stability. Speaking truth becomes a daily act of power, preparing your heart to receive the love you desire. Your inner world becomes the foundation upon which real commitment is built. When you affirm your worth, you rise above the insecurity that once made you question whether you were enough. You shift from trying to impress him to embodying the presence of someone naturally chosen. This internal shift is subtle but undeniable. It changes how you communicate, what you tolerate, and how you interpret his actions. You no longer take every small change personally because your identity is no longer dependent on his attention. Instead, your worth speaks louder than your fear. Affirmations help you step into a version of yourself who sees love as a natural part of her destiny. You become calm, receptive, and confident. This energy draws him closer because you no longer give off the vibration of doubt. You become a woman aligned with love, not someone chasing it. Speaking daily truth replaces insecurity with a grounded sense of emotional confidence that becomes magnetic. You stop worrying about whether he will stay, because your inner certainty becomes stronger than your old fears. Your heart feels more stable, and your reactions become more mature. You no longer need constant reassurance, because your truth reassures you every day. This confidence is visible in your body language, your tone, your choices, and your silence. You carry yourself like someone who knows commitment is coming, not because she's forcing it, but because she's aligned with it. And men are deeply drawn to this inner stability. It makes you feel safe to love, safe to approach, and safe to commit to. Your truth becomes your emotional armor, protecting your peace and strengthening your presence. Consistent self-affirmation aligns your inner world with the marriage you desire, instead of the fears you've internalized from the past. Every time you speak truth, you overwrite an old wound. Every time you affirm your readiness for love, you dissolve a layer of doubt. Your heart becomes clearer, your intentions stronger, and your expectations healthier. You stop replaying past heartbreaks because your future becomes louder in your spirit. Instead of thinking from loss, you think from abundance. Instead of fearing abandonment, you trust in alignment. This inner alignment shifts how you show up in your connection with him. You no longer ask, why hasn't he committed? Instead, you live like someone who knows commitment is already in motion. This energy invites him into deeper emotional connection. Your inner words determine whether you chase love or attract commitment effortlessly. If you tell yourself you are afraid of losing him, your energy becomes desperate. But if you tell yourself that you are worthy of lasting love, your energy becomes composed and magnetic. Your inner language shapes your outer behavior more than anything else. It influences your reactions, your decisions, and your emotional tone. Speaking truth places you in the position of being chosen without needing to earn it. You stop overgiving, over-explaining, or overthinking. Instead, you begin holding your value with grace. This shift draws him toward you, not because you are trying to impress him, but because you have stopped betraying yourself. Attraction becomes natural instead of forced. Commitment becomes possible instead of pressured. Daily truth strengthens your emotional stability, making you irresistible through calmness and self-assurance. You become someone who doesn't panic when communication slows down. You stop interpreting every delay as rejection. You settle into your own energy instead of depending on his for validation. This creates a powerful emotional presence, a presence that men deeply respect and feel drawn to. Emotional stability is rare, and when you develop it through daily truth, you stand out effortlessly. Your calmness becomes comforting. Your confidence becomes attractive. Your presence becomes memorable. You no longer react from fear. You respond from strength. And this emotional power makes you someone he wants to commit to, protect, and build a future with. The more you affirm your inner worth, the less you tolerate anything that contradicts your vision for marriage. You stop accepting inconsistent behavior. You stop justifying mixed signals. You stop shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's comfort zone. Affirmations become the mirror that reflects your true value back to you. They help you recognize when someone is not aligned with your future. They guide your decisions and strengthen your boundaries. You become selective, not from arrogance, but from clarity. You know what kind of love you are building your life toward. And because you are grounded in worthiness, you no longer settle for connections that drain your spirit. This empowers you to hold space for the relationship that truly matches your heart. Your truth becomes magnetic energy that influences his behavior, his attention, and his desire to commit. When you speak truth daily, you create an aura of confidence that he can feel even in silence. You become emotionally consistent, spiritually grounded, and mentally clear. This energy inspires him to step up, communicate better, and treat you with more intention. You become someone he doesn't want to lose, not because of fear, but because your presence adds value to his life. Your truth elevates you into the version of yourself compatible with long-term love. It shifts the dynamic effortlessly. He begins to lean in. He begins to feel safe with you. He begins to imagine a future because your energy supports it. And when your truth aligns with destiny, commitment becomes the natural outcome.